Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity. This is the point in our service where it's a call for prayer. If you're facing a challenge in your life or someone in your life is facing a challenge, we have little pieces of paper in the pew in front of you. You can write their name down, and Lisa from our prayer team will walk down this middle aisle and collect the names. And then she'll be putting them in our prayer box that lives up here during the week, and it'll be prayed over every day for 30 days. And then they're sent to Silent Unity at Unity Village in Kansas City and prayed over for another 30 days. So we sing. They say to sing is to pray twice. We just call Spirit just to connect. Spirit is us, as us, but it's our consciousness connecting with this power that brings the healing, that brings the prayers into fruition. And so here we go with my mom. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you. Now join us. Sing with us. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Boulder. I just want to say thank you for joining us. Those of you who are here that are in person, those of you who are watching online, thank you. We enjoy sharing some time with you each week. So I've got one big announcement about something that's going on here today. Following this service, it's going to take place over in Fellowship Hall, and due to that fact, we will not be having fellowship following this service in Fellowship Hall. We'll be doing it in the lobby, and Santisha will have a circle chat over here. I'll introduce this man in just a second. Hello, Francesco.
Hi, good.
So if you are interested in Santisha's circle group, we'll do that right at the back of the lobby, or right at the back of the sanctuary following the service. Now I would like to introduce this man right here. This is our Italian friend, Francesco Garipoli. He is an absolute Qigong master, and he is going to be leading a 2-hour workshop starting at 12:30 today in Fellowship Hall. Francesco, please tell us about it.
Thank you so much. Greetings, everybody. You don't realize from up here, all you see is light. But even if the lights were off, what would I be seeing? Light, right? Because you are points of light, and you are blessed by making that decision to come here today for this gathering and for the service. Qigong is a path and a bridge to divinity. So when I look out at this light and I see this blur in my optics, I remember what Qigong is. And I remember that bridge to divinity, what it means. It means understanding body, mind, and spirit in a practical way. And how do we bridge to divinity? We trust in our physical body, right? Just like you guys are playing music, we have a physicalness to our divinity. And if we forget that, we grow old, we follow the Western model, we get sick and we die. Because we think that we are just material beings. We have an intellectual connection, right, to our spirit, but we need a visceral connection. And to me, that's what dance is. That's what it means about coming to service. Those of you who have chosen to come here physically have made that step to say, I'm going to bring my physical presence to service. I'm not just going to sit at home and watch it on TV. And bless you guys for watching. I know that you have reasons to be at home, but ask yourself, just like with Qigong, are you willing to make that step to bring your physicalness, right? The music is not being played in a recorded DVD. These guys come here, and the women come here and sing, and Norm and Cinticia sing because they bring their physical presence to their spiritual practice. So I think we have to really think about, what does it mean? Why do I make excuses not to bring my physical body to this beautiful Unity Boulder space? Right? Why don't I bring my physicalness to my spiritual practice? And I don't care if it's Qigong. I've just been doing this for 40 or 50 years. It's my thing. But I do yoga every day. I have various things I do to bring my physicalness to my spiritual practice. You come and sit in the seat here. You have made a commitment that is incredibly, exponentially deeper than just keeping it into your intellect or even in your spirit. Body, mind, spirit. Mind, spirit, where's your body? Bringing our body into that dance is so incredible and freeing. So, thanks for letting me remind us all and remind me why I bring my physicalness to a Qigong practice. Why I can move and breathe and just let my body be part of my divinity and remember that in the deepest ways. So, thank you for remembering. Blessings.
Thank you very much. That is following this service. 2 hours of Qigong with Mr. Awesome. Please come hang out with him. He is the coolest guy in the world. You can sign up for it in the bookstore. You can sign up for it at the Doors to Fellowship Hall. And come check that out. But now I would like to welcome Melinda onto stage here. She's got a little train behind her. Today we are going to be doing a graduation ceremony real quick. We've got 2 YOU, that's our high school age congregants who are graduating today. And today's the day that we're going to honor them. Melinda.
All right. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without crying. I am never successful. First, I'm going to talk about Indigo. I got to see Indigo grow up in Unity. From a young boy, a troublemaker, rambunctious youngster, part of an ever loud elephant stomping trio with his younger brother and Tyler over there. So loud, running around upstairs. So when he joined YOU, I couldn't believe the mature, unique individual that had shown up. My brain could not comprehend the rambunctious youngster to the mature, respectful teen sitting before me. He was ready to engage and share and dive into getting to know the unique, talented person that he is. And he always seemed to bring funny and fun-loving energy to our group and events, like sometimes really ridiculous, which we love. When he went to his first rally, I saw him light up with recognition of finding kindred souls and family. I immediately saw that funny, fun-loving leader emerge and pure joy radiating out of him. So when we reached the end of the event and they started talking about our regional officers, so many of his peers who he had just met 5 days prior started to call out, Indigo should do it, Indigo, he should be a Regi. And I have never seen such an immediate vote of confidence to lead by someone's peers as I did that day. And he became our Regi. So he became our regional officer. And I have definitely seen that talent thrive. I have seen you become an amazing, unique leader who listens and guides. During our in-depth talks, I got to see you grow so much as we discussed spirituality, life, love, the complexity of humans. And I saw you do the hard work of self-inspection, reflection, and then use your tools to self-heal, which was really impressive. And then I got to see you create a safe space full of intention and depth that all of these teens got to experience in our last event. I am so proud of you. All of your talents and knowledge that you've gained is going to make you shine so bright out in the world. And I'm going to miss you, and I love you. We have a gift. We have a gift for you. And then I would love for you to say a few words of what YU has meant to you.
Thank you, Melinda. I'd say for me, YU has just been a great safe space that has just allowed me to learn how to love and how to just really understand the importance of human connection. I learned how to just reconnect with my inner child and just that innocent boy who would just play in the halls of the church with my boy Tyler over here, and just reconnect with it and, you know, never to lose it as I'm growing up and I'm going into the world, and just to always remember it. And yeah, Unity has just been a place that has always been with me, and I'll continue to take it out into the world. So, and YU has been a big part of that, so thank you.
All right, next I would like to honor Eva. Eva started out, I'd say, fairly quiet in YU. I didn't really know who she was. She came and joined when her older brother was still in YU. But she was always ready to help when we had a service project, fundraiser, or fun events. And I remember when I finally got to see her personality come out, which was witty and quirky and sometimes a little sinister. She was always ready to be that jump out, scare you type of person in our haunted houses. And when we went to haunted houses, she was ready to, with that evil, mischievous little grin and laughter. She's also amazingly creative, funny, very deep, and very caring. We often got to hear about her active leadership role in Girl Scouts, which she was, I mean, it took up a lot of your time, and I know it drove you nuts, but I think you also loved it too. Well, I think you did. And she was also very active in dance, all throughout most of her high school. She also has a deep love for animals, and when asked what her favorite animal was and why, I'm gonna share my favorite quote of yours. It was, "It's a fox, because it has the hardware of a dog, but the software of a cat." Perfect. Eva, I have loved getting to see you really become yourself in this last year and explore your inner self. I have loved getting to see your confidence grow and become someone who has the confidence in her communication skills and passion when it comes to, she's just a very caring person. When there's an injustice, she's so passionate about wanting to correct it, wanting to stand up for her friends, all while using pretty thoughtful words, which is rare to see, actually, in adults and in teens. So it's something that I've loved to get to see. And I hope this doesn't sound condescending, but I'm very, very proud of you because of that and because of who I've seen you bloom into and become. I'm gonna miss hearing your laugh, hearing you share your thoughts in group, and your sound. I'm gonna miss that a lot. I'm excited to see you explore the world out there. I'm gonna miss you, and I love you. And I think she doesn't want to take the microphone, so she's written down what YU has meant to her, and I'm going to read it. YU has been a series of doors opening to adventures grand and mundane. That's fair. It's been a fun chance to get out of my shell, and I can't wait to go even further in college. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Melinda, for giving me a space to be me and grow. To the rest of the YU, have fun and be you. And those are my two graduates. So we're actually going to take their senior posters, which we always put together, which is a yearbook of what they've done in high school and what they've done in YU. And we're going to put them out in the lobby for you all to check out as you are leaving. And that is it. Help me congratulate these two amazing individuals.
It's
Do you want to?
Eva and Indigo. We love you, we bless you, and we truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ you are. Namaste.
All right, let's get some music going. Hey, Marcy, come on out.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So good to be here. I'm just so struck by the amazing, exponentially multiplying sense of good that comes from the work that's happening at the Spiritual Center, and I'm so honored to be a part of that and be here with you, and I'm just thankful that this place with everybody in it exists. So I invite you to bring all of the enthusiasm and the joy and the tenderness of what you just experienced and bring it in as you sink down into the infinite love, the infinite presence, the intimate love, the intimate presence in which we live and move and have our beloved being. I remember the presence. I return to the presence. I am one with the presence of the power and the way of love. I restore in the presence. I adore in the presence. I am more in the presence of the living heart of God. I remember the presence. I return to the presence. I am one with the presence of the power and the way of love. I restore in the presence. I adore in the presence. I am more in the presence of the living heart of God. I remember the presence. I return to the presence. I am one with the presence of the power and the way of love. I restore in the presence. I adore in the presence. Evermore of the one beloved God. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. That was an emotional opening. Oh, man. Indigo, who graduated today, he grew up here with my son. Sierra's in the front row, and I'm just watching her. It's like we've done this together. These next phases of life are upon us. And I don't know that any mother really looks forward to this phase of having to let go and let them go into the world. I have one more year with Ty. I hope he turns out as good as yours has in the last year. But what an amazing group, and the YOU and Melinda, just to have this place they've been harnessed for 4 years of just during those just tough years. You know, they're tough years for kids and beautiful years. It's just expansion and attraction and finding who they are, and till the very last nibble before they leave our house, they're learning who they are, and we just have to trust and know that they know that God has their back, that that's the wind that's going to take them as we hand them into the realm of the world. T.S. Eliot says, the end of all of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. The end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. And I love that saying because it's just so true about the spiritual journey. We think we're going to step in and start meditating and create more peace in our lives, hopefully, and more unconditional love for self and other, and able to forgive people that might have trespassed against us and vice versa. But something else happens. A whole other world opens up to us, even though the same people are playing a part in our lives. And we start to realize that everybody that has chosen to play a part in our lives are a teacher. And some teachers are just blessings that just bless your lives eternally from the second they enter your life, and they're like angels. And there's ones that have uprooted our lives and pulled the rug out from underneath us, and they're just as important as the ones that have just blessed us, because in the end it's always blessings, because it's a journey that brings us back to knowing thyself, knowing God as us in action. So we think about these times of exploring where we're about to send our children out to explore, to now take everything that we have planted seeds in them and shown them the light and shown them this Mother Earth and this beautiful planet and this heaven in the midst of who they truly are, and how are they going to partake of this world? Are they going to step into this world and share these blessings of light and love for this world? Or are they going to start to grab for things from the outer world to shelter oneself, which is what the lower nature does, to protect the feelings and to not be so vulnerable in a changing world. But I don't think we contemplate very often on this exploring what it is for mothers at this point. We think it's such a big deal, they're a big step out. But now we're sitting here and we're figuring out, what's our next exploring? What's next for us after mother has been the role, an all-consuming role, for so long? And to now feel like little children again, looking at a big wide world that we don't understand without this role, without this being needed, being wanted, being necessary, being current. So I've been contemplating that this week in the midst of my midlife reflection, is my nice word that I like to use. Midlife reflection, even though yesterday in Lyons there was a whole 50 Corvettes driving along the road. I guess it must be like they all have brand new Corvettes and they like to drive around together. And I thought, you know what, maybe I do want one of those. Just out of silliness, and Mike's like, no, it's supposed to be me that does it. I said, well, why would it be you? I can do it too. I was just teasing, of course. In the midst of my midlife reflection, it's sort of an adjustment of memories flooding to discovering what my soul is ready for next. They say there is no history of now. There's only time. That's what they say spiritually. They say there is no history of now. There's only time. Whatever we may perceive phenomenally appears and disappears. It comes and it goes. There's nothing to pursue, nothing to follow. There's nothing to attain. You are just who you are. There is completeness in this. It's not like you become in stages. You are. So we have to feel the feeling of I am. And don't put a story to it, just a sense of existence. Not apart from it, but a part of it. Notice the watching of appearing and disappearing. It comes in a place where the self is not appearing or disappearing. And when I contemplate these words, I want to say, and yet I feel that time is disappearing. And there has been so much learned and so much more to learn. When I identify with self, I'm observing change, even though they say we are unchanging. So many philosophies that we're trying to contemplate and live in expansion with. And what I feel like is what I'm speaking to here for where I feel maybe Sierra and I are at as mom or as mother or as father, who's sitting here as well. I don't want to leave the fathers out because it's the same thing for you too. There's the human experience. There's the human journey with children, and there's the spiritual journey with children. So there's time when it comes to the human aspect. The human aspect when you're now watching your kids going off, and I have my son next summer, and then I have another daughter 3 years after that. But then, what do we do, right? Where are we going to be? And I look forward to it, and I'm terrified of it, right? It's that the building and the destructing. It's the construction, deconstructing. It's just this. It's always this constant life of change. And how do we stay in the center, in the beingness, in the blessedness of all of it? You know, we always have upsetting things happening out in life. It's part of it. And in it, there's always a teacher. In every ill-hearted situation, every situation, we can look back from our vantage point, and if you're young people in your 20s, you're not there yet. You haven't had the time. You haven't had the exploration we've had, where we can look back and see, oh yes, that was an absolute divine order. That absolute destruction that happened to my life was in divine order. So, once again, in my exploration, I'm standing at the precipice of a new way, a new wave of life. Yet this time I recognize this place because I have been at this point of awakening before, at these big moments of change in my past. Change that was sometimes difficult and even heartbreaking, that led me towards the next unfoldment of my journey. And so when we get that feeling that you can tell that things are falling away, things are changing, we can start grasping to try to keep the things that are changing, or those who meditate, we let it flow away. We understand that we're a part of the current of the river. We flow with the river. When we fight the river, we have a lot of discord and unsettling within the being. But when we go with the elements and we follow nature and Mother Earth, and we do as she does, we can have peace at the source and the center of our being. Even with the heartbreak of children moving on, even though that's the perfect natural order, it has actually been expected, and we've been preparing ourselves from the second we held that baby and went, oh no, I love this thing way too much, and now it's going to freak me out the rest of my life, right? That was like one of the first things I thought when I held Arenya. I went, oh no. I can't ever unsee this. I can't ever unlove this. Oh no, my mom felt this way towards me? The reality of the love. And then we just put all of our life in it and we don't even realize it because it's so natural to make them the center of our world. It makes us selfless. It makes us beautiful. You know, I like being a mom because we're so not self-centered. We're guided to servitude. Every minute we wake up and from the second we go to sleep, it's them. They are our God. So I was sharing with a friend of mine about where I'm at with this, and the last few weeks have been difficult for me. I've just been in, not a depression, it's just that subtle like low, and you can't figure out where to go. Where is the avenue and where are the doors opening? It's just kind of a sense that time has stopped and you're moving in a stoppedness, and you realize that something is percolating. Something is deepening within the soul. And again, in our explorations, we've learned that it's time to not grasp, to try to grab something to fill it, or go shopping, or do something to try to fill this void, but to be in the void, to allow presence until Spirit calls and shows us what's next. And this one that I've been in has been going on and on and on, and I'm like, okay, are you ready? What is it? So I know it's a big one right now, and I don't even know what it is yet. But because of the lull and to the depths of the feelings and the emotions I feel coming up, so much is being healed and birthed and grieved, and it's a wonderful place to be. Because it's truly an honest place to be. And I'm isolating myself. And I'm not interacting with people. I've noticed I get isolated. I need to be isolated. I'm with God. Because the outer people, the noise and everything, I can't handle it right now. Because right now, this is a time for this next awakening. And I think a lot of people are experiencing this. But I shared this with my friend through a conversation, and he wrote this back to me after me visiting interferes and him talking about it with me. And he wrote this: take the Big Bang theory. We have been brought up knowing that the Big Bang was the initial moment of creation, the construction of the material universe. But that moment was also the destruction of the void from which everything emanated. When I use this lens to look back on my life, I can choose to look at what has felt like utter destruction to myself, my dreams, or my family in a different light. I can remember the shattered pieces of what I had constructed with my dreams, with my time, with my body and soul, and see a pile of what had been. But when I realize that it is from those pieces that I can build anew, I can recreate, I can reorganize. When I understand that what has been destroyed can no longer hurt me, I have freedom. I can use the knowledge in my mind and the wisdom of my heart to guide the reconstruction. So I will consciously construct now. I will build back better. I've lived the experience of the destruction, now with love or a heightened awareness. I have a more solid foundation, building onto what survived the destruction. I can take the fragments of self-worth and self-love and construct a version of myself that is more in alignment with who I am and where I want to go and what I want to do. Everybody should have friends like these. You know, like just having a sharing on the phone call, and you open your email and this is the response to our conversation. So this last week, our family, my mom and dad, and my husband and I, and my 3 children, and her boyfriend, all went to New York City for a week. And, you know, the creative arts is really a big foundation of our lives. We're all singers, we're all dancers, we're all musicians. And for some, you'd think you're in Boulder, Colorado, and you're all ministers, and you should be kumbayoing and like oming all the time. But the truth is that city turns us on. That city filled with the most creative people on the planet, and just walking the streets with people that have dreams, big dreams, that are going for it, and going to see Broadway shows, and eating in the beautiful parks, and just watching people, and feeding the pigeons, and the stint of music, just wafting through the wind. It's just everywhere there's music being played, and it's live, and it's just alive. And I wanted to share it with my two younger kids, Katya and Tyler, because they'd never been to New York before, and this was my chance to share my parents in New York, who met in New York and were involved in Broadway and off-Broadway shows when they met each other. And their love of Broadway and show business was absolutely a part of everything that my foundation is, and I thought I would go into that at some point. And when I got to New York in my 18, 19 years old, I went to auditions for a while, and I realized I didn't want it bad enough. I discovered that people were hungry for this in a way. I just liked people too much. I just loved being backstage with all these people. They were just all my friends. I was like, you're amazing. You go ahead of me. No, you go ahead of me. I realized I should be behind the stage loving on these people because I didn't have a competitive bone in me. I didn't have that something that just is self-confident and is going to get out there like, I'm going to get this part. And so that dream ended pretty quickly, but it doesn't mean that I don't still love theater. But sharing it with the kids was amazing. But at one point, this last week, we were walking about 10 miles a day, going down to Greenwich Village and going all the way up to Central Park and everywhere. I was walking behind my 3 children, and I went into a zone where I could not believe that all my children are taller than me. It's weird, like you think your kids are gonna be little forever, and they're not. When people say it's like that, it truly is. For those of you with little ones, just soak and bask it up, because it is just so quick. They're all taller than me, each so uniquely them, observing their strides, the difference in each of them. It was almost like time was stopping in that moment. The wind of reality that they are no longer little and in my control of safekeeping. There was a sense of loss and pride in the same breath. Sorry. There was a vision of all of the many lifetimes I've lived in raising them, and yet they're unaware that they have raised me as well. The awareness of the destruction and construction each child has brought about through the development, the worry that each one has brought up in me, the joy and humor and utter fun we've had through it all as well. And there was the sheer wonder of how we have survived it all together. There's a cloud that has been hovering, chanting, all good things have to change and complete itself. I've spent my entire adult life as a mother since I was 22 years old. The waves of knowing there won't be kids in my house here soon. The face of mother is changing, and it's a bit frightening. So I want to read this from the Eye of the Storm. Change is a part of life and the natural order of things. According to the I Ching, an ancient Chinese text believed to be the oldest known literary work, change is never ending and proceeds according to certain universal and observable rules. The I Ching, or Book of Changes, was one of the first great successes in ancient humans' attempts to find the laws that regulate all phenomena. All events and relationships have their origins in the interactions of two opposite yet complementary forces. Yin and yang, this binary system of mapping the ebb and flow of creative influences in life, became a method of understanding the laws of nature and the way that humanity could attain harmony with all of life. And so, if change is always a part of it, then if things don't feel like they are going well at this point in your life, that situation is also subject to change, and vice versa. If everything is going well, some of us are waiting for the shoe to drop. This is the yin and the yang. This is what we got to get out of. Can you give me a Kleenex, Sierra? I'm like a blubbering. Yes, thank you. But if we take this a little deeper in the eye of the storm, it's written, life as matter and energy is the circumference, spirit is the center. Life as matter and energy is the circumference, spirit is the center. At the center, there are harmony, balance, serenity, peace, and wholeness. At the circumference, there are the yin and the yang, the complementary poles of energy in relationship. In the realm of spirit, each of us is connected because spirit is one. Our spirit is never in opposition to any other spirit because spirit is one. Depending upon where our attention is, we are either at the center or at the circumference of our lives. I think it's a really, really nice way to visualize what the goal is, right? The circumference is the world. Looking to the world to fulfill something that's missing. Looking to other human beings to fill a hole in us. The center is the root. The center is the all-knowing. This is the part of us that in this exploring, we end up back at the beginning, but we finally know what it is. It's discovering this innate knowing that we were born with, but for some reason, with this weird mystery of life, we forget when we're first born, and now it's a journey to remember. And when we really get it, that we don't want to live in the circumference, but we want to live in the center with spirit, then nothing can hurt us or make us afraid or take anything away from us because we are holy now. We are holy in the midst of any turmoil that's going on in our life, as long as we don't sign up with what's going on out there. So just when you think or you feel that your good is not in the midst of you, you have to remember, it is through the destruction of the top layer of soil that the new seeds can have their chance to fulfill their potential. How different would the world be? How different would our families or our lives be if we were able to see that these moments where life has broken us down, when we're standing often alone in the rubble, that amongst this very rubble are the pieces that we will use to create ourselves in the image and likeness of God. It is from what has been destroyed that provides the opportunities to go with the flow of the universe, the cycle of construction, destruction, construction, deconstruction. These pieces are made out of everything that ever was and ever will be, that from within the destruction, and though you would have never chosen it, it was the universe saying, these beliefs, these ideas, this person, this situation, this job, this marriage, this way of being is no longer serving you. And you will get to put it all back together again in a way that it does. Let's sit with that for a second. This is me telling you the truth. I can do abundance talks and get you guys all psyched and stoked, and today wasn't that day. I didn't have it. I didn't have the cheerleader in me. This is really the truth. This has been the journey that I have been on since my child passed away 17 years ago. I learned that I found myself in that deep grief and pain. That's when I first discovered the beauty that lived within me. When I discovered the power and the presence that lived within me. And I wanted to share it with everyone that was willing to listen. And I wanted to meet everybody else that was also a soul warrior that had been through these things, so we could mirror it together and dance in it and be with it and not BS about it and be it, divine in nature. In John 16:33 it says, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation. But take heart, I have overcome the world. I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In this divine potential, in this Christ potential that is you as you will have peace. When you believe and you trust every inner voice, every nudge, every beauty that's being told of what is next, how to handle, what to do. But in the world, if you look to this world to figure out what the problem is and how to fix it and how to bandage it, you're never going to find it there. You'll get little glimpses of relief or reprieve, but it always will fall out and you'll still be left seeking. Seek the kingdom of God within you. Seek the heaven that is in the very midst of you right here and right here. Today, always has been, always will be. And sometimes it's not all about being happy. Sometimes it's about being in reverence of the construction and the destruction. But it always comes back to construction. And it always comes back better. Always. And when you have faith in that, we let go of the fear and the limited beliefs that make us feel we should be afraid of next steps. But you wait. That holy instant is that holy pause. And I'm in that holy pause right now myself. And when I hear it's time to come out of the cave again, Santisha, I can't wait to see the good that's coming from all of this. I know it's good. It's coming. It's just percolating for a while this time, and it's got to be really good. It's got to be really good. Okay. In the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, Charles Fillmore, our founder, said this about the word world. The world, a state of consciousness formed through the belief in the reality of things external. It leads one to follow standards of living based on man's opinions rather than on truth. The world is overcome by our denying that it has any power over us and affirming freedom in Christ consciousness that's within us. And I have a lot more here, and I will revisit it next week. But I just wanted to take you into a short meditation, actually a really beautiful reading that was written by Elizabeth Lesser. And, wait, that's not it right here. Hold on. So let's close our eyes and just get in the presence of this room. I did want to show you this last slide. Rumi says, drum sounds rise on the air, and with them my heart. A voice inside the beat says, I know you are tired, but come, this is the way. This has been my affirmation for the last few weeks. I am tired, but this is the way. So let's get our feet flat on the floor and sit as straight on your seats as possible. Those pews aren't really conducive for the spine being straight while we're meditating and just connecting. Let's just take a deep breath in. And with filled with gratitude for this time together with awakened spiritual friends, aware of all the many faces of God that are sitting together today, resonating, healing one another in presence and in power. So this is a deep thought moment. May you listen to the voice within the beat even when you are tired. When you feel yourself breaking down, may you break open instead. May every experience in life be a door that opens your heart expands your understanding, and leads you to freedom. If you are weary, may you be aroused by passion and purpose. If you are blameful and bitter, may you be sweetened by hope and humor. If you are frightened, may you be emboldened by a big consciousness far wiser than your fear. If you are lonely, may you find love. May you find friendship. If you are lost, may you understand that we are all lost, and still we are guided by angels, by spirit guides, by ancestral love that is just a whisper away. We just have to be in the stillness and listen, becoming great listeners. This is where the vibrant voice will meet you within the drumbeat. May you follow that voice, for this is the way, the hero's journey, the life worth living, the reason we are here. Are you ready to journey into the great blue hole of your deeper feelings and dreams, your wounds and fears, in order to uncover your true courage, your own voice? Are you able to venture into inner space? We are all braver than you think, and it's our job now to redefine what courage and adventure and success looks like. As you work on freeing yourself from your own inner doubts, remember that the opposite is not arrogance and ego. Remember that you can work to rid yourself of any belief that is stopping your forward movement. And at the same time, you can also work on remaining humble, self-aware, and open to change. We don't want to throw away the very qualities that are essential for doing powerful differently. And so we surrender. We remember the truth of our being. And we feel the blessings and the gratitude for what has brought us here today. And with that said, we say, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for everything. We have no complaints whatsoever. And to this we say, amen. We'll take an offering for unity now.
I so appreciate that here at Unity we really celebrate the power and the beauty of life. And whether that life is in the universe, in the world, in this community, or in every one of our hearts. So this is your chance to, by donating, participate in that celebration by donating to the mission of Unity, which is transformation of this planet. And we have all these different ways that you can give. We definitely prefer the recurring donation. We do have a new kind of dip jar out there that I'm experimenting with, and I'll be out there, so come by and check that out. So thank you and bless you.
I have on occasion heard people asked, are we aware of how blessed we actually are? And just listening to this talk today and all the talks that are shared here. And last week, Steve Hayes sharing his talk, giving his symbols. And that unity is so focused on helping people recognize their divine calling. And we've got a Qigong master who's going to be sharing the truth in that room after the service. And it's all for the same reason, because this divine intelligence wants us to recognize ourselves as one with it. We are truly all so blessed. And so with that in mind, let's bring into our hands and into our hearts and our minds that gift we'd like to make to Unity of Boulder, and let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And we have another blessing right here. Marcy's going to share another song with us.
Are you missing sound on your bass? There it is. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, feel free to sing along. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, maybe a few, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. Take it away. Here we go. by me. Whoa, stand by me now. Stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. And again, so darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. I stand by you. I stand by you. Thank you, Larry, for that beautiful solo.
Thank you. Beautiful, as always, and the band is always so amazing. Thank you. Standing over here with the white stalls on are our prayer partners. If you're facing a challenge or even a joy that you'd like to share, just stay seated in your seat after the completion of the service, and they'll come find you and take you to pray. We're going to have a discussion group right after the service, at the end of the service, and I'm going to do it right after so that we don't compete with the Qigong workshop at 12:30. So I'll be back there if you want to discuss the sermon afterwards. And definitely check out this Qigong thing. I did it last year. I have to leave town right after this. I'm heading to a minister's conference in Unity Village today, but I'll be back at the pulpit next Sunday. So, all right, let's start singing with I Release and I Let Go. And this is Sierra, the mom of the boy that graduated today. Yeah. All right.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release in the Spirit, and my heart. Yes, I'm. Oh, we need you all in the choir in the fall. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator. Family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect
And so it is.